Hi everyone, it's Liz here and I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back. Now today I want to talk about something that I've been getting quite a lot of messages about, and private messages about actually, from my friends who are all planning to go to Marrakech, and they want to know recommendations for where they should go, what they should visit, where they should eat, that type of thing. So I thought today I would spend a bit of time and go through what I feel is a good little itinerary actually to take in the sights of Marrakech, but actually have a bit of a rest along the way as well, so that you don't run yourself into the ground and you actually are having a holiday. So I'm going to go through 5 things that I think are well worth doing. They're things that we've definitely done, and recommendations and any prices, names, everything will all be in the description below. But I will, as I'm going along, I will tell you as much as I possibly can as well. So the first thing is, I think that flights tend to come in, you find where you're staying, you settle yourself down, and then you want to go for a wander, because nobody wants to just sit in their hotel or their riad on that very night or afternoon, if it's a case of an afternoon. So I think my recommendation would be for the first night, and particularly if you're staying in the Medina, is to go down and have a look at the biggest mosque in Marrakech, which is called Koutoubia. You can't miss it. It's 77 metres high, and it really is stunning. It's on the southwest corner of the Medina, and it really is a most outstanding building. So aim for Koutoubia. It's also on the edge of the Jamaa El Fnaa. So if you're thinking you wouldn't mind just having a glance at that, you might not want to go full swing into it on your first day. But if you just want a little glance at what it's like, or a glance at some of the souks or the catering stalls, then head down to Koutoubia and have a look at the mosque and have a walk round. The gardens at the back of the mosque are absolutely stunning, and they're well worth spending a little bit of time in. Now, it was built in the 12th century, so all the designs and everything are all as most of the buildings that you can look around in Marrakech. Fantastic workmanship. The architecture is beautiful. You'll hear the call to prayer as well. Now, you can't go inside unless you're practicing Muslim, so they won't let people go inside. But it's just to get a feel of the city, really, and just to think, right, where am I? I'm in a different country. For a lot of us, it would be a completely different culture altogether. Get a feel for that, soak that in, soak in the atmosphere and what it's like. Now, across the road from where the Koutoubia is, there are some fantastic restaurants, and we know this because we have tried them. And it tends to be, this is where we went for our first night this time, and actually first and last night, the last time we visit Marrakech. So that does give you a good recommendation as to why it's good. But what they do have over there are rooftop restaurants. So you can actually go in and you can say, I want to sit on the top. Go in there. The value for money is great. I'll put some prices on for you. But we had a typical tagine because we were dying to try them. But also they do lovely little dips and things as well that you can have with your meal. So you can try some of their dips. They're not too spicy, but they're just very, very tasty. And look out, and because you're on the rooftop, you can look out and you've got this beautiful view of the Koutoubia and all of the hustle and bustle of the cars, the taxis, the horses and carriages, and people walking around motorbikes. But you're not actually stuck right within it. You can look down and see what's going on. So you wake up the next morning and you're all refreshed. You get your nice breakfast in the riad or the hotel, and it's time to do a little bit of wandering around. Now, we often make for the souks at that point, but within the souks is a place that I couldn't recommend strongly enough. It's called Le Jardin Secret. Excuse my French if I've mispronounced that. The Secret Garden. And we've been twice now, and I would go back again. It's just a fantastic place. So by the time you've walked through some of the souks and you've had a little look at what's going on and the hustle and bustle of all of that, it's time to have a bit of peace and calm, and this is just the place to go. So the Secret Garden was an old riad, and it went through quite a lot over the time, went through quite a lot of getting knocked down, being neglected. But actually, in 2016, it opened up again after being fully restored. And I mean, I'll put lots of pictures on and show you what they did, but they've grown all of these wonderful plants as if it was the centre of a riad again. But the whole water system is underground water irrigated from the Atlas Mountains. And again, I think Colin's going to tell you a little bit about that whilst we were there.
Hi, so we're in the Jardin Secret, the secret garden, those of you who know your French. I'm just looking at the way the water's distributed. It's very, very clever and very, very old. I've read this little thing twice now and I can't understand it, but it is very clever. So the water's coming up from the central tank, rising up through the tank, overflowing into the 3 exits there, and then being distributed to different parts of the garden with the pipe. It's all flowing originally from the Atlas Mountains, this water, which is incredible to think, but testament to their skills, I think.
But it's just a marvellous place to visit. There's all sorts of different trees. So as with a riad, I think what we were told actually is that they have to have 5 types of fruit trees to bear fruit. So we definitely were seeing the orange trees, the lemon trees, there were olive trees, figs. So they really did have loads of lovely trees growing. These trees give shade, and what they've done is they've put small benches for you to sit in under the shade. They've built little courtyard areas. The whole water system, because it's open and it's running around the garden, just cools. It's got its own little mini climate there and it cools everything down. So it's just wonderful to sit in there. They also have an exhibition centre, so you can see the pictures of when they restored everything and how they cleaned up all the tiles and all the mosaics and everything. So that was great. And then so there's also a presentation area where there's a video on there and it shows you how the water was all brought originally from the Atlas Mountains, how it came into the garden through the underground wells and then made its way naturally around these little channels that they've built to keep the whole of the garden irrigated and watered. And because that water's all around, it's just cool and it's just lovely to sit there. It's very, very relaxing, and it's amazing to think that outside there are all the souks and the square and Jamaa El Fnaa, and it's all busy, busy, busy. But actually within there, it's tranquil, it's peaceful. It really is beautiful, and it shows you how riads were supposed to work and do actually work when they're done properly. What you can do is you can pay €4 extra and you go up to an area called the Tower. Now, if you've never been before, I would strongly recommend that you go up onto the tower. This gives you the fantastic views that I'll be showing you of the walkway that's all green down below and the little veranda area that you can sit on. But what it does really do is show you the whole of Marrakech. You can see all the mosques. You can see Koutoubia really, really easily. And you just get a massive view of seeing all of Marrakech, and you understand then how there are 1 million people living there and how big it is and vast it is. So the views are amazing to see from there. So I'll put some of those up so you can see those as well. Of course, there are shops within that secret garden, and there's a really nice cafe, and it's not extortionate at all. So if you feel like having a drink, you can, or if you just want to sit on a little bench somewhere, you can do that equally. Now, when we went this time, it was the French holidays, and there was lots and lots of people in there, but you never at any point felt that you couldn't sit down somewhere or you were being overcrowded. It really was lovely. And then up, if you go on the tower, up on the top of the tower area, there's also another cafe that you can have food in there as well. So I would strongly recommend, for €10 to get in, €4 to go up the tower, this is a great place to go and see the vastness of Marrakech, but see also how you can get peace and quiet and just such a lovely feeling right in the centre of the souk area. So my next place that I would strongly recommend that you go and have a look at in Marrakech is the Ben Youssef Madrasa. Now, this is an old intellectual centre that has been restored again, dating back to the 1500s. And it used to be like an old boys' school as such, and where they studied all of the subjects of the day, including religion, mathematics, architecture, art, that sort of thing. And inside there, it opens up into, well, it really is just amazing, the place. There's there's a courtyard that you go into at first, and that's where they all used to go and do their prayers. But then leading off from there are separate rooms where they obviously had lessons. And up on the top, there are dormitories, and it's where they stayed. Very simple dormitories, quite small, very not beautifully done as such, or not luxury, but really you can see it's been a real place of learning. It was very, very interesting, and we just loved our time there. I mean, there's carvings all around in wood, beautiful wood carvings with mosaics. The mosaics are all tending to be in geometrical patterns, which I loved. I was looking at all the tessellations and saying, oh, look at these and look at the colours of these. Really gorgeous. And then they've also done quite a lot of carving in plaster work, which is amazing as well. So you'll get a feel from it from some of the photos. And then right in the centre, again, a pool of water, a lovely little fountain coming from that, and that keeps everything really cool. So it really was fascinating. Again, there's descriptions, there's bits that have been restored, and they can show you the old tubs and baths and things like that. So well worth a visit, and something like €4 to get in or something. So not expensive at all, but definitely worth going to have a look at. I mean, last year we went to have a look at the Bahia Palace, which I'm not really going to talk too much about today, and we loved the Bahia Palace, and I'll put some pictures on of the Bahia Palace. It is really good to go and have a look at that, but I preferred the Ben Youssef Madrasa to the Bahia Palace. So that was my personal preference. So again, the Ben Youssef Madrasa's right in the centre of the Medina, so easy to get to. So I would strongly recommend go and have a look at that. Now, the fourth thing on my list, and I think sometimes it is something that people maybe are a little bit sceptical, a little bit worried about, but definitely go and spend early evening or going into the night time in the Jamaa El Fnaa. I mean, you can go during the day, but it just doesn't have the same liveliness and vibrancy that you will get in the evening. Now, if you're going into that Jamaa El Fnaa, don't be put off by the number of people, because it seems to be the meeting place for everybody that lives in Marrakech in the evenings. But it's magical, and there's something going on everywhere. Now, people have said, oh, watch this, watch that, be careful of this. I would say my advice would be is do put your money and your valuables somewhere that you can, whether it's a bum bag or it's a handbag that you've got your arm over, whatever it may be. But I haven't seen anything going on like that. There is a tourist police presence, and they tend to scatter around the edge just in case you are worried, but they are there. But I haven't seen anything too bad at all from, we've been, this last time we were in there 3 or 4 times. The time before was the same. So when you go into this square, round the edges of the square are all the people selling little bits of things, so either little lamps or little glittery bits for the children, or they're selling all sorts, or absolutely everything. You do get the snake charmers, you get people playing musical instruments, you get people dancing, sometimes you get people dressed up, there's people with these funny hats on, they're doing this with their heads. So there's all sorts of different things going on, and they're just smiling at you and having a good time, and I would say enjoy it and smile back. And then there are some bars scattered around the edge. Now, some of these bars, by this time, some people from elsewhere that are travelling are desperate for a bit of an alcoholic drink. Well, you generally can get in the bars that are rooftop bars round the Jamaa El Fnaa, you can generally get an alcoholic drink. So if you ask them as you're going in, they'll say yes or no. But there are some sunset bars, so you can actually go upstairs, sit watch the sunset, and the sun actually goes down behind the mosque that I was just telling you about before, Koutoubia. So you can see the sun going down behind Koutoubia, and it really is stunning to see, and obviously to sit out and have a drink. We had a mint tea. I enjoyed a mint tea, but people were having a few drinks as well, a beer or whatever they wanted. And then you can see, as it's going dark, the steam and smoke just starting to rise from the catering stalls, because all the catering stalls are hanging around there. And there's lots of people trying to encourage you to go and eat in those stalls. Now, if you don't want to eat, I would suggest you just say, no, thanks, I've eaten already. And then they'll leave you alone, or they'll say to you, will you come back? And you say, yes, I'll try and come back later. It's quite repetitive. So there's a lot of them selling kebabs. There's a lot of them selling seafood. There's a lot selling drinks, nicely freshly squeezed drinks of juice. They do sell the sheep's heads and things like that as well. But when we went there this last time, I mean, Colin was going to do the sheep's head, and we were sort of all set for him doing it, but it was quite full. And also he said to me, I don't think I can eat all of that myself, which I don't know if it's him just getting away with that. But we decided we wanted to go for fish, and we'd been recommended some stalls. Now, all the stalls have a big number on. So you look out for the number. It doesn't go like 1, 2, 3 in order. You go to stall, say 14, and the next one's 53. So yeah, you have to look and find them. But we'd been recommended a really good fish stall, and we sat ourselves down there, and we got talking to a couple of people from London, and they said that they actually have a flat there, and they go all the time, and they go to this fish stall. So I definitely will put the information in the description about that stall. But the food was amazing. We had squid, we had other small fish, I don't know the name of it, prawns, you've got aubergine dips, tomato dips, they're absolutely delicious, fresh bread. And everything we got, it was for €8. All we spent was €8 on it. The only thing I would recommend you make sure you do is take a bottle of water or something, because they didn't have drinks for sale on the food stalls. So take some water or take something for you to have as a drink. But it was just great, sat amongst everybody and having your food and watching everybody else come and get their food. One of the hints that I've seen that people have put on before, and I would say it's a really good hint, is if you're not sure where you want to eat, have a look at where all the locals are eating, and that's the place to head for, because a lot of them do sell the same thing, and you start thinking, well, which is the best, really. Look at the busy ones and look at the ones where the locals are, and that's what I would go for. But as you're eating, obviously it's getting a little bit darker, and then when we were there this time, there was a big stage set up, and there was dancing from all over the world going on this stage. There was people playing all sorts of music. I mean, it does get loud. It really does get loud. And in the end, we said, right, let's just watch what's going on, but let's go to one of those outside bars. So we'd had our meal, we'd had a good walk round, and we went and sat. And by that time, we hadn't had a drink all holiday, really. So we decided to go a little bit further out of the square area, but we could still see the square, and get ourselves a gin and tonic. And we sat and just had a gin and tonic, watching it all going on. So that was lovely to do. But don't worry if you find it quite overwhelming, because it is quite overwhelming, but that's what it's about, and it's just part of the experience of Marrakech. So that is number 4. Definitely get yourself to Jamaa El Fnaa. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit, because obviously I've got number 5, but for number 5, for me, I would definitely say to you, go on the food tour. but I've already done a whole vlog on just the food tour and where you go and what you get and what they do. So I don't want to sort of include that because I've got some other things to tell you about, but I would definitely say as part of the things that you do the food tour and have a look at my video, which hopefully there's going to be a little picture there to show you which one it is. Watch that if you're interested in doing the food tour, because that is definitely a must in my book. But the other thing that I would like to tell you about that I would say is a must to do is a hammam. Now, last time we went to, you see, you find the hammams all around the souks, and they're really gorgeous places to go and have a hammam outside of your riad or your hotel. But we actually went for a hammam as part of our riad. And again, I will give you the details of our riad. They had a small hammam on the roof and we really enjoyed that. It was a couple's hammam, so it was just the two of us. You could feel very comfortable in your swimming gear and getting washed. So what they do is they take you in, and it's like a big sauna really, and there's a big hot slab, and you get on the slab and they first of all wash you down and put loads of water and clean you all. Then they give you a scrub, they call it a black scrub, and they scrub all your body and they put other stuff, creams and stuff on you, and they let you stay there for probably about 20 minutes just so it all soaks into your skin and works its wonders. And then they come in and wash you down again. They do your hair if you want it to be done. I said yes, please do my hair. But they literally, you feel like you've been cleaned inside out really, but it's great. Now I enjoyed this time just being myself and Colin because I felt it's quite a personal thing, and I enjoyed just a couple's hammam. If you go to one of the bigger ones that they have scattered around the souk areas, you go in and there could be a few of you in the same room there and sitting in like the sauna room, for example, all together. Again, it's not, everyone's very discreet. It's nothing bad. However, I must have to say I did enjoy the couples part of the one I went to this time. After you've had that, then you can have a choice of what treatment you want if you want another treatment. A hammam tends to be about 25 euros, something like that. If you want to have anything else, then I would say the prices aren't cheaper than anywhere else. So, for example, a massage is about 40 to 50 euros, something in that area. But they're very, very good. So we had an hour's massage after ours, and it was, well, Colin said it was the best massage he's ever had. It was absolutely brilliant, and it was all over your body massage. So for an hour, you just had relaxation. It was absolutely lovely. And really well worth the money. So although it had seemed expensive compared to the price of everything else in Marrakech, I didn't think really compared to what you would get, well, we would get in Spain or we get in the UK. It was outrageous at all. I thought it was good, really good value for money, and I would strongly recommend it. Now, if you think to yourself, we'd like to do that, my personal recommendation would be do it towards the end of your holiday. So do all your busy stuff and rushing around here and having a walk around there, and then give yourself a treat. We did ours on our last afternoon before we were leaving the next day, and it was just the best timing. It was absolutely fantastic. So we were all relaxed, wound down. You can have a little sleep afterwards when you go back to your room. It's just gorgeous. They obviously give you mint tea, stuff like that afterwards, just to have a little drink because you're dehydrated, but just brilliant. So if you get the chance to try a hammam and you fancy it, I would strongly recommend that as well. Now, I know I've told you 5 things that I would recommend, plus one extra really, and I just want to tell you about booking systems and things. I have put this in my main video about Marrakech, but I do definitely want to stress this in the bit that I'm doing about excursions and trips. One of the places that I'd earmarked that I wanted to go to, and we actually went and travelled and got a taxi over to this place, is the Majorelle Gardens, and it's where the Yves Saint Laurent Museum is. Now, I've seen pictures of this, I've read up on it, it looks absolutely amazing, and I was determined that we were going to be going this time. But like a fool, didn't realise that I had to pre-book it. So if you are wanting to go on any trips, like you want to go into the Majorelle Gardens, you want to go on the balloon rides, into the desert doing quad bikes, go and have a Berber dinner or anything, those sort of things, please make sure you pre-book. All of these are on TripAdvisor and you can pre-book. The Majorelle Gardens, you can go onto their website and pre-book. I didn't realise how busy it was going to be when we were there, and I thought we'd be able to get in. So that was foolish of me. The good thing is, because I really want to see it, and Colin does as well, we will have to go back again to Marrakech, which we're absolutely made up about. So we will go back again, and definitely don't want to lose touch with Marrakech. And when I do my video, which I'm going to be doing very shortly, on how cheap things are and the cost of everything, and break it down for you, I'm going to let you know exactly what we had to pay to get our holiday there for 3 nights and 4 days. So that will be coming up as a little advert there. Have a look at that, because it's absolutely amazing how much you get for your money. I'll finish there. I think I've recommended enough things to keep people going. Anybody got any questions, please let me know. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe and like, but please comment as well, let me know. There's not enough people telling me whether they like these videos, and I want to make sure I'm doing the very best I can and giving people the information that they want. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.